how do we practice the hammer-on technique on the acoustic guitar. Now, if you don't know what a hammer-on is, it's basically a very simple approach that allows you to play the notes with the left hand. So for example, if I pluck the first note and then I play the second one with my left hand only, okay, I'm performing a hammer-on technique. It's a really useful technique and a lot of guitar players use it. Now, the thing is, how do we practice that? The majority of the exercises out there, they're all more or less the same. They are this chromatic approach. They're kind of old style. They work, okay, but at the same time, I always wanted to find a practical musical way to practice the hammer-ons, okay? So we're gonna play this nice melody in E major, which is full of hammer-ons, and we're gonna take it step by step. I'm gonna show you exactly what I was playing, and hopefully you're gonna have fun practicing this approach, okay? Guys, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you wanna keep up with all the upcoming tutorials, and also check the description if you wanna have more info about this lesson. Let's have a close-up and let's get started. Alright, first thing first, let's just get started with the left hand and let's figure out which are the patterns that you're gonna play. So the exercise sounds like that. Okay, now there are mainly 4 patterns, okay? The first one is this one, the second one, third one, fourth one, okay? So there are 2 combinations. One is 1, 2, and the other one is 1, 3. So I'm using the first and third finger, okay? Now, the first pattern will be played on the second string. So the hammer-on is always performed on the second string. And the first pattern starts on the fret number 4, and then I'm going to hammer the fret number 5, okay, with the second finger. And the third note I'm playing is the first open string. So I will have the plucking note on the second string fret 4, hammer on the fret 5, and the first open string, okay? So the first thing you want to do, you want to practice this pattern slowly and without rhythm. So you want to pluck the first note, then take your time to control the middle finger and hammer the fret, and then you play the first open. Now when you play the first open, you will notice that at the beginning the first string doesn't really ring out properly, okay? It doesn't happen all the time, but if you are a beginner-ish or you really never really practice the hammer-on technique, you will probably mute the first open string. And that's why you're gonna have to work on the left hand angle. So make sure that you position the thumb straight down behind the neck, okay, right behind the middle finger, okay, and free the first open string so that when you hammer the fret 5, the first string rings out nicely, okay? Now, the first step is to practice this thing slowly. Okay, you do it for a few minutes, just for your fingers, just to get used to playing the pattern. Okay, and then the next step will be to add the bass note. So you're gonna have that. Okay, so you're gonna pluck the 6th string simultaneously with the 2nd string fret 4, and then after that you are going to perform the hammer-on and the first open. Now you want to repeat this pattern 4 times. Okay? And one thing that you really have to focus on is also the right hand plucking, which is thumb and index, hammer on, and first string with the middle finger. Okay? So I'm always alternating with index and middle finger. So you repeat that 4 times. Then we're going to move on to the next pattern, which is all the way here. with the second string fret number 10, hammer on the fret 12, okay, and the first open string again, okay. This is a slightly different pattern because we're gonna have the index finger on the fret 10 and then a hammer on the fret 12 with the third finger and then the first open string, okay. So you basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. So it's 5 different movements. The first 4 are the same, and then the 5th one is different. Okay, so you're gonna slide all the way up. And you wanna finish with the second string open. Okay, so you're gonna finish the first line, okay, the first phrase with the second string open. So, which is played with the index finger. So the whole idea is okay. Now spend a little bit of time practicing the first phrase, okay? Now when we start the second phrase, it will be slightly different, so it's going to sound like that. Okay, so there is a little bit more movement, but it's always the same 2 patterns, okay? So we start with the pattern number 1 with the second string fret 4 and hammer on fret 5, and we only perform that twice. Then we're gonna slide all the way up to the second string fret number 10 and we're going to perform the pattern 1, 3, fret 10, hammer on fret 12 and the first open, okay? Then you're gonna have the second string fret number 9, okay, with the hammer on the fret 10 and the first open, okay? So you have, okay, and then the last pattern is with the index finger on the fret 7 and the hammer on fret 9. So I'm using a 1, 3 pattern and the first open string, okay? So I'm gonna do it slowly. The first 2 patterns are the one starting on the fret 4. Then we have fret 10, fret 9, fret 7. And you want to remember to always finish with the second open string. So the last note of each line is always the second open string. If I put together the whole thing, the first 2 lines, I'm going to have alright, so these are the first 2 lines. Now the line number 3 is exactly the same thing. And the line number 4 is exactly the same thing. So you're going to repeat the first 2 lines again twice, okay? Now, the really important thing, guys, make sure that the hammer-on has exactly the same volume as the plucking note, okay? So you really want to work on the movement and make sure that you hammer this fret so that the notes really ring out nicely, okay? Now, after that, we're going to move on to a different chord, and we're going to have this one. Okay, now we're moving on to an A major chord, okay? And we're going to have different patterns. The first one is exactly the same as the pattern number 1. So it will start on the second string for number 4. The bass note is the 5th open string, okay? So you're gonna have 5th string and the second string together, and then a hammer on the fret number 5, okay? So I'm using a 1-2 pattern. And remember always to play the first open string, okay? Which is always at the end of each pattern. So Then I have the pattern 1-3 starting on the 2nd fret, string number 2, and I have fret 2, fret 4, and the 1st open. Okay, so it's fret 4 and 5, fret 2 and 4, back to the fret 4 and 5. Okay. Then I have 5, 7, and 7, 9. Okay, so okay, remember always at the end of each line you want to always play the 2nd open string. It's really important. Again. So you repeat the same thing twice, and then what you'll do, you want to play the first line again, okay, and we're going to finish with 2 harmonics. The first one is the 6th string fret 12, and then I play the 2nd and 1st open, okay, on fret 12. Okay, the harmonic is really simple. You just want to lightly touch the string right on the fret 12. Okay, you don't want to press, you just want to lightly touch it, okay, and you pluck the string closer to the bridge pins, okay, and then 2nd and 1st. Okay, so the whole thing is very simple, the structure is very simple, but the technique, it's going to take a little bit of time to really get it nicely done. Okay, but take it step by step, guys, and slowing it down. Good luck with that, and let me know how it goes. See you next time.